All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're throwing the two undisputed champions of the smartphone world into the ring. In this corner, you've got the powerhouse packed with features, the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra. And in the other corner, the polished and refined titan, the iPhone 17 Pro. It's time for a head-to-head battle to see who really takes the tech crown.
So, what's on the fight card for today? First, we'll start with the tail of the tape to see the raw specs. Then, we'll go through 4 rounds, covering everything from design and display to power, performance, and, of course, the huge camera clash. After all that, we'll deliver our final verdict.
You got it. Every big fight kicks off with a tail of the tape. So before we get into how these phones actually feel and perform, let's get a baseline and just look at the raw numbers.
Okay, so what's really fascinating here is just how close they are in some ways and how far apart they are in others. I mean, look, both have a huge 6.9-inch display, but notice that brightness. The iPhone is pushing up to 3,000 nits. Wow. And you see a similar story with the battery, but then a massive split on charging speeds, 60 watts versus 40. And don't even get me started on the cameras. A 200-megapixel quad setup versus a triple 48? That hints at two very different philosophies, which we're going to break down right now.
All right, bell rings for round 1. This is all about the physical stuff, how these devices look, how they feel in your hand, and what it's like to actually look at these screens day in and day out.
When you pick these things up, the difference is, well, it's immediate. The S26 Ultra has this sleek, almost futuristic vibe. It's thinner and definitely lighter at 214 grams, which you do notice. The iPhone, on the other hand, it feels substantial. It's heavier, sure, at 233 grams, but that weight gives it a really premium, refined feeling. It's really a choice between modern and sleek or dense and luxurious.
Now, when we talk displays, Samsung is packing some serious firepower. We're talking a peak brightness of around 2600 nits. So what does that even mean? Simply put, you could be in the brightest, harshest direct sunlight, and this screen is still going to be perfectly clear. It's impressive.
But, and this is a big but, Apple just had to one-up them, didn't they? The iPhone 17 Pro pushes that to a wild 3,000 nits. This gives it a small but, noticeable edge in those super extreme lighting situations. It makes it the absolute king of outdoor visibility, no question. Okay, time to pop the hood for round 2. We're digging into the raw horsepower that drives these beasts, and, maybe just as important, how they handle that critical trade-off between how long the battery lasts and how fast it charges back up.
Look, let's be real. Both of these phones are stupidly fast. You're not going to see lag on either one in your day-to-day, but they do shine in different areas. That Snapdragon 8 Elite in the Samsung, it just crushes intense gaming and heavy multitasking. But the iPhone, with Apple's A19 Pro chip and that super tight hardware-software integration, it just delivers this buttery smoothness and efficiency that's really hard to beat.
And this is where things get really, really interesting. This isn't just about the size of the battery anymore. We're talking about a fundamental difference in philosophy that presents a very clear choice for you as the user. So first up, you've got the iPhone's superpower, its battery longevity. Thanks to that incredible optimization, it just consistently delivers. We're talking about 18 hours of heavy use. It is a true all-day phone that you can absolutely count on to get through the craziest days without scrambling for a charger.
And here is Samsung's powerful counterpunch. So maybe it doesn't last quite as long, but its 60-watt fast charging is way quicker than the iPhone's 40 watts. That means you spend a whole lot less time stuck to a wall and more time, actually using your phone. It's speed versus stamina.
Let's get to the main event for a lot of you out there, the battlegrounds where phone wars are truly won or lost, the camera systems. This is where both companies pull out all the stops.
Samsung's strategy here is pretty clear: versatility and just raw power. That massive 200-megapixel main sensor captures just an insane amount of detail, and its 5x optical zoom, it's just in a class of its own for taking shots from far away. You throw in some powerful AI processing, and you've got a camera that can do pretty much anything you can think of.
Apple's approach, it's all about consistency, and man, that video, seriously, the iPhone is still the undisputed champ when it comes to video quality. Nothing else comes close. Its color science is just famous for producing these natural, true-to-life colors, especially with skin tones. It's the most reliable point-and-shoot camera you can get, and yeah, it usually takes better selfies.
And here we are, the final round. We've talked hardware, specs, all that good stuff. Now, let's talk about the soul of the machine,
the software that ties it all together. This is where we go beyond the numbers and get into the daily experience, right before we deliver the verdict.
And really, it all boils down to this, doesn't it? Two completely different ways of thinking. With Samsung and Android, you get freedom. You get features. You can customize pretty much anything. With Apple's iOS, you get simplicity and this seamless ecosystem that just works perfectly with all your other Apple gear.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. You see this exact sentiment all over the internet. This one Reddit user just nailed it when they said, "This is more about ecosystem than specs." Once you're deep into either Apple's world or Google's world, the hardware itself sometimes takes a backseat.
So after all that, who takes home the belt? Well, the truth is, the judges have to call this one a split decision. There is no single best phone here. The right choice depends completely on who you are and what you care about most.
So who's the S26 Ultra for? You go for this phone if you're a power user who loves to tinker. You want the absolute best camera zoom money can buy, you want the freedom to customize every little thing, and you want that super fast charging. You value features and freedom above everything else.
But you pick the iPhone 17 Pro if your #1 priority is a seamless, polished experience. You want the best video quality on any phone, period. You're already in the Apple ecosystem, and you love how your watch, your laptop, and your phone all work together without a thought. You just want a device that's smooth, simple, and has a battery that will never, ever let you down.
And that's where we leave it. It really comes down to one question: power or polish? Are you looking for the raw, feature-packed power of the S26 Ultra or the refined, reliable polish of the iPhone 17 Pro? Which Titan wins your battle? The choice is yours.